Well, when I went to a small institution in New England called Hampshire College, there was a professor there, one of the founding professors of Hampshire College, it being a fairly young school and only founded in 1970. And this professor was noted by the name of Lester Mazer. And Lester had a few interesting things about him. The most interesting thing was his voice, the one that I'm doing an impression of right now. It was a bit of a combination of Dr. Evil and Kermit the Frog, perhaps them raping each other and providing some sort of love child would have this voice. Lester, in fact, had a story about people doing impressions of him. He noted that there was I should back up. There is a friend of mine named Tyler who would do an impression. He would be the first one to do the impression of Lester, and then quickly we all developed impressions. Tyler, of course, was a student of Lester's, so spent a lot of time with him to develop this voice. And there was a class that Tyler was serving as the TA for. And Lester, going off topic, as he was frequently wont to do, was telling a story about a tree that had been planted on the campus. That tree had been planted in memoriam of one of Lester's students that had died at a fairly young age. And Lester said that he was very proud of his student, and he had heard that the student did a very unflattering impression of Lester. And he noted then that anyone who did do an unflattering impression of Lester tended to meet a grisly end with a pointed look at my friend Tyler. Lester was also the subject of campus legend regarding his sexual prowess and sexual equipment. I'm sure some of this started when he appeared in a student-made porn film. Of course, he was only had his shirt off in that, which rather impressive by itself, considering Lester was about 5'4" and 300 pounds. However, there was a specific instance where a mutual associate of myself and Tyler's, a fellow named Tim, was going to use the facilities at the campus athletic center where there was a sauna. And he heard what he thought was Tyler's voice doing an impression of Lester coming out of the sauna. So he opened the sauna door and said, "Hi, Tyler." And he saw Lester saying, "Tyler, where's Tyler?" And then he saw Lester's gigantic elephantine wang. Ever since then, it was quite widely known how Lester's equipment was sized and shaped, to the point that there was something of a joke that he would end his courses with, "I'd like to close the class with my impression of an elephant. And for you ladies, here's a rhinoceros." Oh, the uncola. As I was saying, Lester was the center of quite a few amusing anecdotes. One class I took with him was a dinner seminar, where the class would cook a dinner and then eat the dinner while discussing the topic of the day's class. Lester was making an Indian dish that was said to contain some mango. I asked Lester about this. I said, "Does it really contain mango? Because I myself am allergic to mango." And Lester's response as he was chopping the mango was, "Oh, really?" But all of this really pales in comparison to another Tyler story involving Lester, in which Tyler, who had ingratiated himself as a student with Lester, was invited to house sit for Lester while Lester was in Germany. While there, on his first night house sitting for Tyler, he discovered on Lester's nightstand a collection of Victorian Erotica and a pump jar of Vaseline. One other thing about Lester that he was quite proud of is that his family was from a region of Russia where roughly 3/4 of the men were named Mazer. This, of course, leads us to speculate that there must have been some inbreeding in that region, and they must have been trying to keep the giant dick genes in the family.
Victorian porn, pump jars, big dick jeans, it's all true.
Yep, and there was a student film that he was in that was a, there was a film school, and the idea was to make a porn movie without the actual, sex, and there was a scene in which one of the characters was in a class daydreaming, and the professor was played by Lester, obviously a stretch as a role. And then in the daydream, Lester walks through the scene still lecturing, but bare-chested. And the guy had a figure like beach balls.
Alright, thank you. Big dick gene.
How many dicks is that?